All righty, guys. We'll start with Bill Rabinowitz.
Right. Carson's obviously going back to his home state. How different is he now than he was 2 years ago? I know it's significantly different, but just how much has he solidified the line? How is he just kind of stick to his improvement?
Yeah, well, a great example is somebody that, when Luke Whippler went to the NFL that year, he got thrust into a role maybe a year earlier than we would have expected. And that isn't always easy. But going through that and learning from that has made him, stronger and more experienced and more ready now. And I even think, more ready to make the run we made last year at the end of the year because he had gone through that. I think it was also great for him to spend a little time with Seth McLaughlin that year. And because when you have somebody older who kind of shows you the way, especially at center, it's good. And when Luke left that year to go to the NFL, there was sort of that year void for him that, most people probably don't even recognize. But because of all of those things, he's become an excellent football player. And, his communication, he's playing with great confidence. He keeps everybody together up front. And, I thought he's held some of the environments we played in well so far this season. And, we're going to need him here. But I know he's excited to go back to his home state and play well.
Even with the success the team's having this year, you always talk about there's room for improvement and room to grow at the halfway point of the season. Where would you specifically like to see improvement?
You know what I'm going to say, everywhere. But I think for us, in a day and age when it's all about what's new, what's flashy, what's exciting, what's the new thing, it's the mundane daily tasks that we have to embrace on a daily basis. The same things over and over again. So playing with great effort. I know that doesn't sound exciting. You heard me say that before, but we can't just try to find the flashiest way to say it. We have to embrace those things. And when you come in the building on a Tuesday, getting back to work and starting from scratch again, and getting back to your individual drills and your technique. And Carson's a good example of the more he played, the better he's got, because he's putting these days in and he's working to get better, and he's getting on the film and he's taking the corrections. He's putting it on the film. Putting it on the field. So I just think that's what it is. It's this, combined effort for everybody in the building to get better. Because the way we played last week isn't going to be good enough this week. And that's just how it works on a week-to-week basis. So, that being said, there are certainly areas that, we want to see addressed sooner than others. But, I won't get into all those right now. It's just everybody understanding that we have to embrace that part of it every day and not getting bored with, what works, and I know it sounds simple, but it's important. And that was a big part of the message today before practice. Yeah. Well, I think the focus needs to be is, one, how are the runs fitting up? And then two, what are the yards after contact? Or once you engage somebody, making somebody miss. And that's been an emphasis point here for a few weeks now. I thought we did a nice job in the Minnesota game, just okay last week. But then again, there was a lot of, whether it was short yardage or down in the red zone, there was some heavier runs in there, just a lot of bodies. So a little bit played into, where we were on the field. But that's it, focusing on those things at practice, working on running through contact, working on open field tackling, close quarters, running. Those are the things that, we're going to continue to focus on to try to improve that area. And I think the more these guys play, Bo and specifically James, because I think, CJ, has a feel for, running behind his pads, but he can still be better in these areas as well and breaking tackles. But the more they see it and the more we show it to them on film, again, this is kind of what we're talking about. These are areas we all can get better at.
How close are Milan or Quincy from expanding your options?
Yeah. They're there. They're right there, right on the doorstep. And we need them. Carnell and Jermaine, and Jeremiah and Brandon need those guys to step up in a big way. And And so Quincy's really shown up on special teams, which is a great sign. He's done a really good job on punt return for us. I think this is something that we can build on there, and that's a great sign. Milan has been practicing better, so we'd like to get them in the game when we can, because we know we're going to need this depth as the season goes on.
Ryan, Wisconsin has had some injuries at quarterback. They've kind of gotten behind and struggled. What are you expecting from them on Saturday, in addition to effort? Because you're going to get effort.
Yeah. Again, Luke Fickell's a very good coach. He knows winning football, and his team plays hard. They play sound football. Now, I know the season hasn't gone the way that they've expected it to go, but at the same time, put the film on. They're one of the better defenses in the country, and all it takes is a few big plays and getting the offense in rhythm, and they're going to be in these games. And so we know that, and we know going in any game on the road is a challenge in this league. So we know what we're going to get, and for us, as we want to just continually focus on our process and how we do things. But I think the other thing is there's a lot of ways to look at it, but I'm sure they feel like their backs are against the wall a little bit, fighting for this season, which I can understand. And so when you get that, you're going to get a team that's going to come out with their hair on fire. And so we have to match that intensity and then some.
Time for two more. Cameron T. Robinson. Davison and Jermaine, obviously very confident corners.
Yep.
Jordan was like that. Like, is there something to having the secondary that attitude just like they have that attitude?
Yeah, there's no question. I think not every DB has to be that way, but I think when you think of the DBs you want on your team, I mean, they're gritty, they're competitive, they're edgy, they have a short memory. At times you can't tell them anything. That's the way you want it. And I tell those guys all the time, man, you bring me up every day because you bring juice, and it's our job to work off of each other in this building. And I've said this before, Davison, when he came in, I'm not sure that room was exactly like that. And then you had Jermaine in there, and then Caleb, because to me, Caleb is kind of the man that makes it all happen, and we all see what Caleb does on the field. But a big part of the success that we have is Caleb's presence on the field and communicating and getting everybody on the same page and building confidence around him. And that's probably one of the things that maybe has gone unrecognized a little bit, maybe not to everybody. I know not to me and our staff and our players, but that's going into the season, we had some guys on the team that were a little inexperienced, that hadn't played a lot of football. And so when you take somebody like Caleb and you take a guy like Sonny who have played and can lead and can communicate and can build confidence with the guys around them, those are all the things that you don't see. And to me, that's why Caleb is such a special player and is the best defensive player in the country, especially in the secondary. And his impact is felt not just with his play, but also the impact he has on those around him. And that's what a great player does. They make the others around him better.
Last question, Tim.
Brian, speaking of the running game, how much would the Eagles be cured a little bit just to get a home run ball?
Yeah.
From these guys. I mean,
Yeah.
remember back in the day when Urban was pressing for that, and
Yeah.
boom, it finally happened. But
Yeah.
Just speak on that.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, yeah.
I know it would.
Yeah, I know. You're right. It would be nice to hit a long run. We've been very efficient, but to your point, it's something that would be nice, and we have to keep working on that. And I think when you see the way that we're set up, there are the runs, and then there's like the perimeter, and the way that we're set up, that kind of goes hand in hand. But yeah, there's no rule saying that we can't break one of these runs for a big one.
And how close have you come? You think? I mean, if you think back to the last few games, both seem to have really gotten really close. Have you seen it getting there? I guess.
Yeah. No, I first off, I think we're giving great effort. I think that we're continually trying to figure out how to put our guys in positions to be successful in those moments. We're not designing a ton of plays to just create explosives because, we feel like we can be efficient. But we do have some different things that we can get to as time goes on to try to create those things. But, a lot of our explosive plays typically come from our receivers. But to your point, yeah, I mean, we'd love to get, some of these runs into the secondary and create, explosives. I mean, that's the idea. But, efficient, yes. Explosive, not yet. And that's, again, what are we working on? That's certainly something that we're focused on.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Yep.
Can you update on had a good week of practice and
What they say? Had a good week of practice and ready to go. Appreciate you. Do your job, man. Yeah.
Jaylen McClain, 20-yard line. Yep, and Will Kacmarek at the goal line.
Ryan was talking about the attitude and confidence that sees from this defensive background. How have you seen that grow? How does that show up? How does that make an impact?
I feel like that has a lot to do with just like how you prepare, every week, and obviously the chemistry that we have as a group in general, on and off the field. So I feel like when it comes to being on the field, we're always together, we're always on the same page, and we just, the energy just shows off with that. I feel like when you have corners that, have energy like that, that feeds off into like, people like me and Caleb. Well, me and Caleb obviously have energy as well, but, with their type of energy, the swag they play with, it helps them play. It helps, puts confidence in me that they're going to play too.
Are they different? I mean, mentally, cornerbacks, I mean, you're now safety now.
Yeah.
You're well entrenched. Do they have to be a little bit different? You know what I mean?
I feel like to be, be a corner, you got to be a little different. You got to have a little something to you that, that no one can mess with you. That's what they have, that confidence, that swag. That's, like I said, like they always got that.
Did you see that out of Devin? Like last week, he got his first start and got picked on a little bit, but came back from it and stuff. What did you just see out of him in that different?
I felt like I seen the swag just keep on coming along after snap after snap after snap, because obviously, he had to get his feet wet a little bit. And I felt like he got his confidence throughout the game, and and it turned on for him. You're gonna see that, for the next coming games too.
Jaylen, we've heard about Coach Patricia being kind of like a player's coach, some of the guys have called him.
Yeah.
Just what's your relationship been like with him, since he got here, and how much has that kind of helped you grow as a player?
Ever since he got here, the first day he was here, I had spoke to him, had conversations with him, and the relationship's been growing ever since. And I love him. He loves me back. I like playing for him.
When he came here, obviously he had an NFL background, not a college background. I don't know how much barriers there might have been among the team about this guy getting able to adjust to college, but he seems to really connect with you guys. Is that the case?
Oh yeah, he really connects with us. He he's a player-friendly coach, like he said. I feel like I speak for the whole defense as a whole. Like when someone like that has a good relationship with you, and he's your defense coordinator, you want to play for him. Like he puts that energy in us. He has confidence in us, and you just want to play for a coach like him.
With all the movement that he does and the fronts, linebackers all over the place, does it feel like you're playing an NFL defense?
Obviously I'm not in the NFL, but I feel like, it probably would translate. It feels like, he puts a lot on our plate that we can handle, and like you said, it's like a player-friendly type of defense. So I feel like, it works out well.
After the game, Coach Field was talking about their hurry up, and I felt like he wished they had done that more against the guys they had seen success with. When you guys looked at that part of the game, what stood out?
Obviously, they went with with the hurry up offense a little bit, and they were like trying to drive down the field, but obviously it might have looked like we weren't like all the way there when it came like to the togetherness and like how we were executing. But like I feel like that's something we're going to keep on working on, because it might show up as a weakness, but it's really not. I mean, it's something we're just going to keep on working on. We're going to get better at and execute.
What do you say shows up like togetherness, that kind of stuff? Like, how do you see that manifest itself on the field?
Obviously, like when it comes to togetherness, it's communication, it's getting lined up, it's discipline. So when I mean like that, that's what I mean. So it'll just show up more and more and more.
Dude, you especially too. I mean, you're 6 games into this now. You're a modified starter. It's much more comfortable, if that's the right term, or confident, are you back there than you were game one this year from Stefan? What you're seeing, how you're reacting to it, etc.
I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable, obviously, as I'm going into like game 6, 7, whatever. So like, obviously in game 1 I felt comfortable as well, but just the confidence is going up. I'm seeing the field a little bit bigger, and the game's slowing down for me, I would say. So that's even better.
Last question. Coach Tate talked about on Saturday how he felt like maybe at points the team kind of put their foot off the pedal. I think he said. Just how much has that been a point of emphasis this week of playing a full 60-minute game?
Oh yeah, like Coach Day said, we might have took the foot off the gas a little bit. Obviously, like he said, with the tempo, like that was evident as well with us taking our foot off the gas. So it kind of exposed us a little bit. But no, this game we just got to show a complete game from snap 1 to snap whatever it got to be. So that's the goal.
All right, Jalen, thank you. Carnell Tate, 20-yard line.
And Cardinal, please speak into the mic if you don't mind.
Coach Day was just talking about how he feels like Quincy and Milan are starting to come along a bit and factor into the rotation. But where have you seen them, in practice behind the scenes and start to develop and earn some more playing time?
They definitely make plays out there on the field. It's just a matter of understanding the playbook, and they've continued to show us that they're capable of doing that. And then it's like later on in the season, we're going to need those guys to step up, whether like a guy goes down or just we're up so much on the team that they got to go in and go play.
You talked this offseason just about growing as a leader and building your voice. I guess how much pride do you take in some of those younger guys coming along and you being able to be someone they lean on?
I'll take a lot of pride in that, because at the end of the day, the room's a reflection of us. Like no matter who's out there in the room, like whatever they go out there and put on film, go out there and say, it's a reflection of the room. It's a reflection of what's going on within the program. So we take all the pride in that.
What's the message to the other players from you older guys? You're an older guy, but going into a game like this where that team got beat 37-0 last week. I mean, Wisconsin seems to be in a deep place right now. What's your message to your teammates, et cetera, going into this game?
We just got to go treat it like each and every other game we do on the schedule. Go prepare for them like they're a top talent. Because we know, like Coach Day says, teams like that are desperate. They're desperate for a win. They'll do anything to go out there and win. And then it's just college football. College football is crazy enough where like the teams who were incapable of winning now are upsetting the bigger teams, because sometimes the teams that like that, they let the gas up, and so you always got to prepare for those teams.
With that in mind, what impresses you, I guess, about Wisconsin's defense when you look at it on video? Because Iowa scored 37.
I mean, they just had a bad day that day. We're gonna get their best shot. We get everyone's best shot. So I don't know. I ain't got too much to say on that.
Devin Sanchez made his first start against Illinois this past weekend. What have you seen from him in practice that made him ready for that?
He showed it in practice, and with the young guys, it's about consistency. And then he's shown that he's able to be out there and go, be consistent. And then if it happens a play been made on him, he's shown that he's capable of bouncing back and continue to go out there and play high level football.
After the game, I don't know if you saw Davis asked about the part of the end. He's like a dumb. And him and Jermaine seem to have that energy. And what is it about corners like that might make it difficult to play against? Because it might be the one time that they just like they can get tough ways and they just the energy or something.
It's just annoying. Like to go out there and see them celebrate. Sometimes it's a bad ball, or they go out there and make a play. It's just annoying to have them going out there talking each and every play. And then also like you as a receiver, if you mess up, now they're in your head too. And like you're trying to show them like who you are, but then they're in your head, so now they can get the best of you. Oh yeah, definitely. It just a receiver. He's desperate for to go make a play. When you're desperate, it can lead to worse things.
Opponents are trying to limit big plays that they're playing back, trying to keep everything in front. Is that frustrating to the wide receiver room, or how do you feel like you guys need to deal with that?
It's frustrating. I mean, we got the guys that's capable of taking the top off the defenses, but that's what we're expecting for the rest of the season. We got high level guys, so. I mean, from a statistical point, as far as deep balls, I mean, it limits that. But then it also it just shows that you got to catch the ball and go make a guy miss and go on and score or make the big plays. I'm happy to see my dog. I just hope he don't do too well against us, but I'm happy for him, rooting for him all the time.
Receiver room is. How do you handle yourself when you're not getting the ball routinely again?
At the end of the day, you got to go out there and play. There's probably three receivers on the field. You got to go out there and play. You can't put bad things on film. You can't let the game affect you emotionally. And then if the ball's not coming your way, that's a conversation to have off like after the game or whatever that may be. But sometimes the game is like that. Games don't always come to you all the time, each and every game.
Coach Day also highlighted you guys' efforts in blocking. How do you feel like you've grown in that this year?
We take pride in that. A lot of explosive plays are on the perimeter, and that involves the receiver. So if we're able to have an explosive play do that, so we're gonna take pride in that and do everything we could.
Carnell, there was a play on Saturday. I think Julian missed you. It looked like it was just a miscommunication. You guys were talking. They showed it on the broadcast. What happened?
It was just a miscommunication from the quarterback. Other than that, he thought one thing, I did another thing. So that's just that.
What did you think?
I mean, I thought he was gonna throw a touchdown. So.
When you have a young quarterback like that, how do you have that conversation without, like, obviously you don't want to show him too frustrated, but how do you guys go about it?
Oh, we just go out there, have a simple conversation like, yo, hey, I'm open right here. Just come. If we come back to it, just look for it.
After that, kind of the breakout game against Minnesota, obviously people around here know how good you were, but you were sort of the hot name, and everybody was writing about you. I mean, what was it like last week, and then coming back and getting back on the field for another game?
It's football. I mean, you're gonna have your big games, you're gonna have your bad games. You gotta stay level headed. I mean, everyone's due for a big game. That was my big game. I'm due for another one. So yeah, keep going.
All right, Carnell, thank you.
Appreciate you.